of videos about our Navica MLS system. I have had some requests from members and offices that we do these little quick videos that can be shown at office meetings or can be easily accessed from our YouTube channel. So I want to go ahead and we're going to start with quick CMA. So this is going to be the first one in a series. And so quick CMA is a really good way for you to be able to get comparable information and comparisons for your clients without having to use the full CMA tool inside Navica. I typically do not train everybody on the full CMA tool. I do not think that it's easy to use, and so I know that it's going to be coming under changes as well in the next couple of months. So what we'll do to work around that is we will do the quick comparison. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on the search tab. So the search tab, it brings up your full search, which is here on the left column. It gives you the ability to search with your MLS numbers. These do keep building and adding the more numbers you put in. And then on the right-hand side, this column here is going to be all of your quick search information. For our purposes, what we're going to do is we're going to do the full residential search. So I've clicked residential. Now, we're going to do a search that I did for some other training most recently. And so we're going to do a single family. And then we want to click sold as our status. I'm only going to be using sold data for the purposes of this demonstration. Then I'm also going to do a range on the square footage. Please speak with your company's broker or trainer about how they typically advise to do the CMAs. But typically what we would do in training is that we would encourage you to go 200 above and 200 below your subject property square footage. So if my subject property square footage is 3,000 square feet, then I'm going to go 2,800 to 3,200. So I've got 2,800 to 3,200, and then we're going to use the River Chase subdivisions as an example. And I'm using those simply because I know that I'm going to get a pretty good level of results from within that. If you're doing a more rural area, then what you might want to do instead of doing subdivisions, you might want to use the map search where you can put your subject property's address and then do a radius around that subject property. If you need additional information about how to do that map search, please feel free to contact us at our Four Rivers office. I will also probably do a video on that in the coming week or so. So we've got our square footage, a range, 200 above and 200 below. We're doing single family. Our status is sold, and we've selected River Chase 1 through 3 and River Chase 4 through 10. You can also put additional features in. What I always say is that you want to start broader and get more specific rather than starting too specific and having to get broader. It's easier to add search criteria in to get a fewer amount of results than try to start from a fewer amount and figure out what to take out to get more results. I'm not going to add any features in for the purposes of what we're doing here since it's kind of a quick video. So what I did is I scrolled all the way down to the page, and I'm going to do a date range. And so I'm going to do 6 months back. You might want to also speak with your broker or the trainer in your office to figure out if they advise 6 months back. Usually that's a fairly reasonable range, but a lot of people say if you can get even closer, 3 months, that's better. If you're in a more rural area, you might be able to go to 12 months. But again, consult with your company about doing that and see what they desire for you to do. So I've put that range in, and at the bottom right hand, I just said start search. So we've got 7 listings. That's actually a really good selection. And so I'm just using this as an example. Say my subject property is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. So I'm going to select a couple of these properties that are 4 bedrooms, 3 baths because they're fairly comparable. So I'm also going to select one that's a 4-4. And your broker or trainer should also be able to advise on how you can do the adjustments. That's not my department, but they would be more than happy to give that information to you, I'm sure. So we've got 4 different properties selected, and I just selected the check boxes on the left-hand side. If your display does not look like this, then you need to go ahead and probably change your display. And you can change your display types up here through these drop-downs. And here's your layout. So if you're not seeing what I have here on the screen when you're doing it, then you can change it to traditional, and you will see the little icon photo and then the other additional information on the line. So I've got those 4 properties selected, and then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to click Comparison. The little box, little icon up here, looks like 2 columns. And then I'm going to say that this is being prepared for Jim Williams. I'm going to give it an address of 155 Colonnade. This is a good way for you to be able to personalize the CMA. And then the full display that I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the public residential detail. It's not going to show the sold price for the other properties, but it's going to give all of the other additional information for your client. We always ask that if you're giving something to your client, you do give them the public information. If you do desire, though, you certainly can do the MLS, just usually we advise to do the public. So I've selected the public display, and I'm going to hit Go. Gives you 2 options. One is to view the quick comparison. The second is to email it. So the quick comparison, I'm going to view that first. So I'm going to click there to view it. And then it's going to give me, you can see it says prepared for and prepared by, and then statistics below that. And so it's going to give you your listing, selling price, your sold list percentage, your price per square foot, and your average days on market. And so it's got our 4 listings. It does show the sold price and the closing date. And then it also shows the listing price. So you can see on average the selling price within those comparables was $407,000, and that brings your price per square foot at $133.97. You can see that on average the property sold for 98% of their listing price. And then it gives you the ability to be able to look down at the properties that were used to pull this comparable information up. And so what you can do with this is you can print it, or you can go back to your other screen, which should still be up, and you can do an email. So you can email that to a client. And so that's how you do the quick comparison. Again, it's a very quick way to pull information up, especially if you're at a property and you've got a client who possibly wants to make an offer on a property. You can do this and pull it up very quickly. If you have additional questions, my email is amy@4riversrealtors.com. Thanks a lot.